Don't abuse your power and authority given to you as a believer, as a child of God. One of the things we have to be very careful about is the abuse of your power. God has given power into the hands of a believer, but one of the things you see is people who are even being led to abuse that power. When any man of God comes and tells you to pray for some of these prayer meetings and some of the prayer points that are given to people and praying for people to die, don't do it. You see, whichever man of God is giving you that direction lacks a certain dimension of revelation. And you see a lot of believers falling into that trap. And we ask ourselves why a lot of believers have a hardened heart. Abusing your power hardens your heart. As a believer, learn how to surrender things to God. It's very important. He said, do not overcome evil with good. And he says what? Vengeance is mine. I am the Lord. And he said what? Vengeance is mine. It takes some kind of humility to be able to practice that. Because when you take vengeance into your hands, sometimes you worsen cases. When you take vengeance into your own hands, God takes his hands off. I'm telling you. Some of you find yourself in certain places of prayer, and certain men of God are telling you, pray for someone to die, pray for this, pray for that to die. Hand it over into the hands of God. In the hands of God, by his own will and desire, he's the creator of everything. And if he decides that these people have to cross to the other side, then let him do it. But you as a believer, don't abuse your power. You see, if you as a believer you use that thing, the authority God has given to you, and you are using it to call for the death of people, sometimes it can happen, but it's not in the... God does not have anything to do with it. You are just acting on your own. You have chosen to avenge yourself. And when you decide to avenge yourself, God takes his hands off from you. He takes his hands off. And a lot of times, I don't know what kind of place you find yourself, in a place of spiritual battle you find yourself, but one of the ways the enemy does is he will continuously let people keep poking at you, so that what? You take vengeance into your hands. When you take vengeance into your hands, God's protection comes off. It's a trap. Sometimes you are praying, and the enemy is also causing whoever he has chosen as his, whatever person he has chosen as a zombie, to attack you the more. Why? He's trying to get you to come to the place where you decide to avenge yourself. When you decide to avenge yourself, God's protection comes off. Some of you are doing it in the house of God. You know what you are practicing? You are practicing witchcraft. Pray for people to die is witchcraft. It's using your mouth to speak evil things into the world. It's using your mouth to project evil things into the world. And I've said it already, if you've been on this channel, spoken about the laws of karma, which is true. When you speak evil things into this existence, there's always a payback. There's always going to be a feedback. When you decide to avenge yourself, God takes his hands off. I'm telling you. When Jesus came, he came to amend a lot of things. He said what? Vengeance is mine. I am the Lord. He said what? Vengeance is mine. Don't try to take vengeance on your own. This is one of the reasons why a lot of believers in church, their heart is not in the right posture. It's in the wrong place. Because some of you are being told to avenge yourself. When you see, you find anybody that wants to avenge themselves, it's a person that is not able to forgive. If you find people who always want to avenge themselves, who always want to retaliate, these are people who don't understand don't know how to forgive. It doesn't mean, you see, when someone offends you and you forgive them, it doesn't mean you should keep them around you, no. Especially if the person is a repeat offender. They did it the first time, you let it slide, they repeated the same. Just love them from afar. But don't avenge yourself. Hand everything into the hands of God. Some of them, God is going to turn them. Some of them, God is going to touch their heart. Some of them, God is going to change them. The typical example, like when Saul, who became Paul, incited people to stone Stephen to death. Stephen did not curse him. He did not avenge. He didn't. And as a result of that, we saw how God was able to convert and use Saul, who became Paul, when Jesus met him on the road to Damascus, when he was going to persecute other Christians in Damascus. We saw how far, the extent. So some of these people, God was going to use them. God in his own way is going to use them. Some of them, if they refuse to turn away and they still want to hurt God's children, they have gotten to that place where they cannot be redeemed. Let God be the one that calls judgment on them. But don't let it be you. Don't let it be you. That thing that people are being taught in the house of God is wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong. So as a result of those things that you are praying for them to die, you are practicing witchcraft. I'm telling you. You are opening the door for the enemy to possess you. And the enemy does it intentionally. When you take vengeance on your own, he said, vengeance is mine, I am the Lord. When you take your vengeance into your own hands, his protection comes off you. So the attacks of the enemy become worse. I'm telling you. So this is the first video I'm sharing today. As a believer, as a man of God, whatever position, whatever gifts, whatever spiritual gifts God has given to you, don't abuse it. Don't abuse your gifts. Don't abuse your authority. Don't abuse the power God has given to you. Learn how to steward some of these things God has given to you with grace. You need grace. You have to know how to forgive. You have to know how to give people a second chance. But people who have decided they are not going to change, they are going to abuse it, keep them at a distance. But don't call vengeance on them. Hand everything to God and let God himself, who is the creator of man, who decides who lives and who dies, let God himself decide. If he decides, and even if you've been to your word, you have come across scriptures that God says that he does not want you to what? Gloat on the downfall and destruction on your enemies. No. He has a reason why. So just don't abuse your gifts. Learn how to hand things to God. It's not easy, especially when the person you are dealing with has become a zombie in the hand of the enemy. Zombies, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. They keep attacking you over and over, and it's not working. They keep attacking. Why? The enemy wants them to provoke you to come out of that protection that God has placed on you. If you avenge yourself, you start praying a certain way to avenge yourself, the protection of God comes off because of you have taken vengeance into your own hands. Learn to hand over things to God. No matter what, just hand it over to him. And let God himself decide. Because he blesses you. When you hand over vengeance, you hand over it to God. He blesses you. He protects you. I'm telling you. You realize that even as your enemies are increasing their attack, God rather gives you more grace, more protection. And they don't understand. So, that is that.